In this edition, we shed light on social insurance, one of the most important rights of the Algerian workers, which the government ensures through a set of clear-cut regulations. The French authorities have decided to hike the quota of Schengen visa allotments for the benefit of Algerian citizens starting from the month of October 2015. And a bomb exploded in central Bangkok, Thailand this evening, killing at least 16 people and injuring some 80 others. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Zain News Live and welcome to this English news edition. As mentioned in the headline, social insurance in Algeria is one of the most important rights of the Algerian workers, which the government ensures through a set of clear-cut regulations. Yet, due to job scarcity, many private sectors are shamelessly exploiting the hapless job hunters who do not really have a choice. Karim Fazakri.
Despite the fact that social insurance is the first right of the worker which the Algerian law protects, many private companies ignore it. Pension, insurance, compensation for work accidents are all rights which many Algerian workers only hear of but never benefited from them. Ben Youssef is one of these workers in construction sites who worked for several years across many provinces, but those working in construction sites are not covered by social insurance, maybe quite a few. There are some sites in which we were insured, but you work for 1 year and you're insured for 2 months only. I worked in Douala for 9 months. I didn't even get paid. And when I'd had it, I threatened to sue him. And you know what? He mocked me and said, I will show you the courthouse if you want. In spite of their awareness with the laws and the non-declaration of workers at the level of social insurance companies is punished by the law, many entrepreneurs seize the lack of job opportunities in the country and exploit many hapless youth. When a worker comes, we propose insurance for him because this serves both him and we. And the biggest harm is gonna fall on the company, of course. There are yet some workers who refuse to be insured because they have other commitment elsewhere, or who are already covered by insurance, or even have small projects of their own, or working in a foreign company or something. They just don't like to be covered by insurance or they can't. Generally, those working here are insured.
باسكو راح يفقد بعض الخصائص برا وبعض الامور وجينيرالمون احنا نجي نسوريهم يكونوا مسوريين.
Desperate breadwinners become victims whose rights have been taken away from them, far away from the eyes of the law. The government is urged to implement pressing strict measures to combat this phenomenon, which takes away the Algerian workers' human rights in the private sector.
The French authorities have decided to hike the quota of Schengen visa allotments for the benefit of Algerian citizens starting from the month of October 2015, with on focus the curtailment in rejected visa applications and the easing of the relevant procedures required for visa granting. Mohamed Warazwan for more details.
French consulate sources told local media outlets that around 100,000 Algerians have been granted a Schengen visa to enter the Schengen European space over the past 6 months. Over 300,000 visas were issued in 2014 by the Embassy of France in Algeria, according to the same sources. This is a significant hike after the 210,000 visas issued the previous year. 75,000 visa applications received a positive response in the 3 French consulates in Algeria, said the same sources. 50% of allocated visas allow for regular circulation in France and in the Schengen area over a period of 7 years without the need for a new visa. An increase favored the latest injunction by the French Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Development, Laurent Fabius, to facilitate the procedure for the granting of visas to Algerians. The same sources indicated that new work positions have been created within the French consulates in Algeria to deal with a very significant increase in demand, which now stands at around 35% per year. The number of files processed per day reached 1,200 at the only General Consulate of Algiers between the autumn of 2013 and the spring of 2014. The enforcement of such facilitation measures are, according to the same sources, in context of the consolidation of the trade, economic, academic, and cultural exchanges between the two countries.
In more local news, the Minister for Youth and Sport, El Hadi Ould Ali, has confirmed to the media that Algiers' 5th of July stadium will soon reopen to the public after being closed for renovations for the close 2 years. The minister did not offer any specific date for the stadium's reopening, but said it would be available for events such as the Algiers Derby and international matches soon. Amin Mustawa.
According to the Minister of Youth and Sports, El Hadi Ould Ali, the 5th of July 1962 stadium of Algiers, which has been closed for renovation for nearly 2 years, will reopen soon. Opened in 1972, the 5th of July stadium was closed following the collapse of one of its sections during an MC Algiers USM Algiers match held on the 21st of September 2013, during which 2 young fans tragically died. Despite the various delays the project has seen and the Football League already starting, the minister assured the media that the stadium would be reopened shortly.
I confirm that there are no problems with the 5th of July stadium and that we are working with a multidisciplinary committee. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, the Ministry of Housing and Urbanism, local users as well as the League are working together to resolve some existing issues, and these issues are easy to resolve. I think that in the coming days we will reveal more on the status of the stadium, but I can't say in an official capacity. There is no problem with the 5th of July stadium. There is progress being made on the work, so I think that the stadium will be reopened very soon for the Algiers Derby and also international matches.
The minister remained quiet, however, as to the exact date of reopening, as media speculated that the works might take longer than the minister was leading on.
I can't offer an exact time frame or commit a certain date, but let's be reasonable. The works are currently close to completion. There are a few issues remaining which are easy to resolve. There is a multidisciplinary committee working on the issues. I really don't want to trap myself into committing to a certain date. We shouldn't be alarmed. We shouldn't be fatalistic. The 5th of July stadium will soon reopen. This is a commitment made by the Democratic Popular Republic of Algeria through the Ministry of Youth and Sports and also through the Ministry of Housing and Urbanism.
The 17th of August marks the 38th anniversary of Mufti Zakaria's passing away. The latter is the poet of the Algerian Revolution and most known for the Algerian national hymn, which he wrote. He also has 2 famous groups of poetry named Al-Lahab al-Muqaddas and Iliadat al-Jazair. Mufti Zakaria, born Zikri Sheikh, is an Algerian poet and writer. He wrote Qasaman, the Algerian national anthem, while in prison in 1955. Sheikh Zakaria bin Sliman bin Yahya bin Sheikh Sliman bin Haj Isa was born on the 12th of June 1908. He was given the nickname of Mufti by a school friend. He was born and attended school in the Mzab region of Algeria. His university education was in Tunis, where he met a number of poets including Abu Qasim al-Shabi. His first poetry was published in a Tunisian newspaper in 1925. He became associated with Algerian nationalists and served time in prison for his beliefs in 1937 and 1938.
شغلنا الورى وملأنا الدنا بشعر نرتله كالصلاة تسابيحه من حنايا الجزائر.
In 1956, he was imprisoned in Serkeji prison by the French for his politics. There he wrote a poem called Qasaman, or The Pledge. It was said that he wrote the poem on the walls of his cell using his own blood. The poem was later set to music by Mohammed Triki in 1956 and then by Mohammed Fawzi. The final song was heard in 1957. This poem became the Algerian national anthem shortly after 5th of July 1962 when independence was achieved. Zakaria died in 1977 in Tunisia, but his body was buried in Algeria. Zakaria left his poetry and the words to Algeria's national anthem. He has postage stamps issued in his honor, and Nomirat Mufti Zakaria Airport in Gardaya, Algeria, is named in his honor. May he rest in peace. And moving on to regional news, Libya's internationally recognized government appealed to Arab states over the weekend to launch airstrikes against armed extremists allied to the ISIS terror group, who have expanded their hold on the eastern coastal city of Sirte. The statement came late on Saturday as the ISIS affiliate seized control of a new neighborhood in Sirte after shelling the area, killing a senior cleric and horrendously hanging the bodies of 4 firefighters over a bridge. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has approved an anti-terrorism law that sets up special courts and provides protections to its enforcers. The controversial law, published in the government's official gazette on Sunday, sets a minimum fine of 200,000 Egyptian pounds, about $25,000, and a maximum of 500,000 pounds for anyone who stays from government statements in publishing or spreading false reports on attacks or security operations against armed extremists by virtue and this newly adopted law. Karim Fazakri for more details.
احنا بنقول ان المصريين قعدوا 4 سنين أو 5 في ظروف صعبة جدا.
Egypt has strengthened its already formidable anti-terrorism arsenal with a new law to counter an Islamist insurgency. It has prompted fears that the authorities will use the measure to crush dissent and stifle press freedom. Journalists face large fines if they contradict official visions of terrorist attacks. Suspected militants will be tried in special fast-track courts. The military and the police who use force will be protected from any legal consequences. The measure brought in by presidential decree was sped up after the state prosecutor Hisham Barakat was assassinated by a car bomb in late June. The murder was followed by a large-scale militant attack in the Sinai Peninsula days later. Forming or leading a group deemed a terrorist entity by the government will be punishable by death or life in prison. Membership in such a group will carry up to 10 years in jail. Financing terrorist groups will also carry a penalty of life in prison, which in Egypt is 25 years. Inciting violence, which includes prompting ideas that call for violence, will lead to between 5 and 7 years in jail, as will creating or using websites that spread such ideas. The law has raised fears that more journalists could be put on trial for their reporting. A verdict in the retrial of the 3 Al Jazeera journalists originally jailed for defaming the country is due at the end of August. An appeal court ordered the retrial, saying the verdict lacked evidence. Australian Peter Grest was deported, while his colleagues Mohammed Fahmy and Bahar Mohammed were freed on bail.
In troubled Iraq, a parliamentary panel called Sunday for former Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki and dozens of other top officials to stand trial over the fall of the northern city of Mosul to ISIS terror group last year. Separately, Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi directed military commanders accused of abandoning their posts in Ramadi, the capital of Western Anbar province, which was overrun by ISIS extremists in May, to face court-martial. The moves come a week after Abadi launched a sweeping campaign to reform the governing system and are the most drastic steps yet taken by Baghdad to provide accountability for the loss of nearly a third of the country's territory to their radical fighters. Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi also slashed 11 ministerial positions on Sunday, cutting the 3 deputy prime ministers and 4 others' posts while combining 4 ministries with other similar ones. Hundreds of thousands of people have taken part in posts or protests across Brazil calling for the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff. Support for Ms. Rousseff has fallen to single-digit figures in recent polls. Many voters have accused her of failing to stamp out corruption and blame her for the economy's worst slump in 25 years. Marches took over Copacabana Beach in Rio and also demonstrated outside Congress in the capital, Brasilia. Many wore the yellow shirts of the Brazilian football team and sang the national anthem carrying banners saying Dilma out. About 350,000 people took part in the protests in Sao Paulo. Another 25,000 people took part in the similar demonstrations in the capital, Brasilia. A bomb exploded in central Bangkok, Thailand this evening, killing at least 16 people and injuring some 80 others. The explosion, which occurred close to a popular Hindu shrine, appears to have targeted foreign tourists. Amin Mustua for more details.
Reports indicate that at least 16 people have been killed and some 80 others have been injured in a bomb explosion which occurred in the center of Bangkok, Thailand at around 7 p.m. local time. The bomb was set close to a Hindu shrine in the Shidlam district, which is a major tourist attraction in the country's capital. The Thai government have confirmed that the bomb was a TNT explosive, that it targeted tourists visiting the country, and that a second bomb was found in the area and has been defused. According to Thai Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-ocha, a war room was being set up by the government in order to best deal with the situation. Local media have said that the death toll was in excess of 27 people, with 3 foreigners amongst the dead. The explosion occurred on the Racha Prasong intersection, which has been the center of political demonstrations in recent years. Following months of political unrest, the military overthrew the elected government in May 2014. It is as of yet unclear how this explosion in Bangkok, generally considered to be a safe city for tourists, will affect the important tourism sector of the country.
In technology-related news, what better way to ensure security than using parts of your body as the key? The market for technology that relies on recognizing parts of the human body to grant access is growing. Usama Snasi.
You may have seen high-tech tools that scan your eyes and fingerprints in the movies, but the technology known as biometric authentication is gradually becoming a part of our daily lives. This company uses facial recognition to identify workers, allow them into the building, and track their attendance. It only takes a second to verify and match the person's face with the stored data. Not only is it convenient, but it's more secure, as people's unique facial features are almost impossible to replicate. But it's not just businesses using the tech. Apartment complexes are adopting the system as well. Biometric authentication is gaining popularity as a new means of identification, replacing the predominant system of numerical and text passwords. The global market is expected to reach $16.7 billion by 2019, more than a 3-fold increase since 2012. The growth comes on the back of the rise of fintech or financial technology that requires a high level of security as it becomes easier to make payments. Technology that can read your eyes has also been developed.
With iris recognition, users can worry less about their identity being falsely used. Iris is very unique, and even twins have different iris characteristics.
In just a blink of an eye, a transaction can be made simply by looking into a device. A local card company is planning to implement the system to make transactions easier. But like all other previous methods of identification, biometric security features come with risk.
Strong measures need to be taken to prevent biometric data leaks. If it's being stored, it means it can be leaked. Passwords can be reset and cards can be reissued if lost, but biometric features cannot be changed.
There are also doubts whether the new authentication system will become widely used, as some people may be uncomfortable having their biometric information saved in a database.
And finally, to wrap it up, let's make an outing to eastern Algeria, where the Jordanian music superstar Diana Karazon illuminated the sky of the 4th evening of the Jamila Arab Music Festival, held since Thursday on the historic QQ Sky. Usama Snasi.
The Jordanian superstar Diana Karazon illuminated the sky of the 4th evening of Jamila Arab Festival, held since Thursday on the historic site of the ancient Curicule. The artist, who sang Lebanese and Algerian melodies and other genres with art and style, captivated many spectators who attended the 4th evening of the festival, which runs until the 22nd of August under the slogan One People, One Nation.
I am so happy and so proud that my first public performance in Jamila Festival was like this, and the audience was amazing.
This is the first time I participate in this festival. It's a big joy for me that I can't even describe it.
All of the singers were good, and the evening was amazing. The evening was good, and we enjoyed it.
The public has wonderfully made replica to all choruses sung by Diana Karazon, along with other Algerian singers, and managed to make this evening a memorable show.
Here in the World English News Edition. Thanks for following us. Bye-bye.